Hello everyone, welcome to Ketu, the south node of the moon, placed in the 10th house of your chart. Good for you if you have Ketu, 10 houses away from your ascendant in this way in your birth chart. Also, you can check from the moon sign, Chandra Lagna, and this has application in the D9 Navamsa. It's also good for Western horoscope, but just make sure you have sign for a house system. Even better, get yourself a sidereal chart. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. This video is good and helpful, of course. Give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Let's go. Firstly, what is the 10th house in your chart? It's your status in life, caused by the deeds you do in the world. It, yes, relates to your job and your career, but really, it's about how you do the job rather than always what you do. So much else to see in regard to that. So what is your style of working? Are you chaotic? Are you organized? All the rest of it, it's all shown by 10th house. What is your experience of your career as well? Can be shown here. But not everybody has a career or job. This 10th house is about deeds. What you do in this incarnation. What do you do in life? What will you be remembered for? That's all shown. 10th house. Who is Ketu? Ketu is a south node of the moon in the opposite sign to Rahu, who is the north node. Ketu is actually a headless being. He doesn't see anything material. He's totally spiritual. He represents keys, and he is the key to moksha, liberation. He's the only planet who will actually enable you to get free from this maya and illusion and to find the way out of this material prison house. But in addition to this, he is definitely a flag, a past life siddhi accomplishment wherever he is in your chart, which you need to understand deeply. He is also direct link to past life situation. Now, all of the planets represent past life karmas, but Ketu is like a wormhole in space. He's like a time warp. He directly takes you directly into your past life experience. Now, Ketu is very like Mangala. Like Mangala, he can lead an army. He's a very disciplined being when he is good in your chart, but completely lacking direction when he is afflicted. Ketu is angry, impatient, and extremely violent under affliction. And Ketu can give mathematical ability, technical ability with small machines like computers especially, and even astrological ability because he is terribly intuitive. He doesn't see anything externally. All of his knowledge comes from within. However, when afflicted, he can be a very separatist tendency. As I say, he can lead to disruption and even mistakes. Is this placement a good placement for Ketu? Well, Ketu is not about worldly concerns. So wherever Ketu is, he's going to bring some confusion, some change, some disruption to the area, that's for sure. So this might seem negative, but actually Ketu here can give you some past life siddhi, past life accomplishment. Don't forget this, which is going to help you in your career area. Very important to understand. We'll talk more about it. But what did you do past life? What siddhi? What accomplishment do you have? Everybody, you must check the sign of Ketu. The sign of Ketu only gives you that clue. So check the video on my channel, Ketu Karma's All Signs. I will put the link below for you and again at the end. But the first thing, everyone, we have to see with this Ketu. Who is Ketu? Ketu is a renunciate, if you like. He's a sadhu. It doesn't mean you're going to renounce worldly affairs. Some people may, but it's not generally seen. But Ketu is a wanderer. He is not staying still. He's going here, there, everywhere. And that's exactly what's going to happen probably in your career, working life direction. Now, it depends how strong Ketu is. Stronger than he is by sign, maybe you will be a little bit more stable. But generally speaking, Ketu here can give a lot of jobs, a lot of career changes, a lot of moving around. Even when you don't know what you should be doing, lack of direction can be here, career-wise, job-wise, sometimes. So quite a bit of misdirection, confusion can be there. Even on the job, there can be mistakes made. You can get confused. You could even lose a job with this Ketu. You could get fired from a job. Don't worry if you do. That's obviously not the right place for you. But the thing is, Ketu is seeking something higher in work situation than the usual factors. That's what you have to remember. Ketu here makes you difficult to work with, by the way, because you're doing things your way. You don't want to do things how you were told to do them either. And it's a little bit chaotic, so you're not the most organized person either in the workplace. I mean, if you've got Sun here, Saturn, Mars, that can help, but generally it is not organized factor. That is why Rahu Ketu axis can be so good if it is here. 10th house Ketu for self-employment many times. Funnily enough, Ketu is like Mars, and Mars is strong here. That's why it is not a weak position of Ketu. Sometimes you can do Martian jobs, the armed forces, as I say, spy, detective, secret agent, those things. You can be somebody who is very up to date with the latest technology as well, because Ketu is about small machines, computers, good for computer software programmers, that sort of thing. Extremely creative. It's a hugely creative axis. You must not give up even if you get frustration, difficulty in work field, because you are here to do special mission. Work you did not complete past life, but it may take you a little time to actually find what that is. In addition, of course, Ketu is occult astrology. You could be working in that field or you could have talent there. That's another factor. Ketu so strong, it is commonly seen. But the good news for this Ketu, with this Rahu Ketu axis, actually, in your 40s is a big switch, a total switch. Home, work, everything switches. A whole new direction, career-wise, sometimes work-wise, home life, everything will switch. Just a switch point happens. Why? Because Rahu matures at 42, Ketu 48. So 40s are the big turning point. Many people with this position. One thing for absolute certain with this Ketu, you've got to have space. You've got to have space to do things your way. Think it out your way. Independent worker. You need your own office space. You need to work from home. Some people ought to have very flexible working conditions. This is really needed with this Ketu. Which brings me to one of the biggest issues with this Rahu 4th, Ketu 10th. Home work balance. It's a very extreme position. You can have workaholics, never at home, always at work, or you can have people who just can't wait to get out of the office, get home. It's difficult. You've got to find a median here. As I say, from your 40s, it becomes much more settled. See, Rahu Ketu axis as well shows that you had maybe fame, prominence, past life, but this life, it's about taking care family. Perhaps you neglected family last life. This life, you're going to have huge responsibilities there. Home, culture, country of origin are really important to you this life. You must not neglect attention to these things. It's going to pull you back every time. In summary, then, you're going to do something special, something of service to humanity, something which has deep meaning for you in this life, I promise you. But it's going to take you some time to actually find that. You have to have patience. Don't give up on this. Check out Ketu's karmas in all signs, of course, up on your screen right now. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now. God bless you all.